Hi class, we're going to continue on with Excel Module 6. We're at step 6-6, working with tables in Excel. And I have our data table here that we're working with. And we're going to do some great stuff with it. Let's see what we want to do. First, we want to insert a total row. Whenever we're working with a data table, we saw earlier that if we're have a cell selected anywhere inside the table design tab will be available. So I'm going to do that, click somewhere in my data table, and then use the table design tab. Now I want to find the table style options group right here, and it says that I can use that to insert a total row at the bottom of the table, summing all the values in the last column. Now, by default, it creates this total in the last column. However, total rows display a button beside each cell to create other totals and functions. If the values in a column are non-numeric, then Excel counts the number of records or rows and puts that number in the total row. So let's see if we can do that. We've got our table design activated, and they say you can try some different options here. The total row does that. We could do last column, change our formatting, so lots of different things. So we want to actually use this total row checkbox. Everything looks good there. I don't think I turned anything off that was on, but I'm going to Control Z a couple of times just to be sure, because I would have accidentally. Looks good, so I want a total row, and there's my total row. Now let's select cell E23 in our total row and click the button on the right side of the cell to display a list of available functions. E23, here's our drop down, and here's our available functions. We'd like to add a sum to this row, so we can do that. That'll give us all of the billable hours. Now in F23, we'd like, instead of a sum, we'd like an average. So I'm going to choose average. The average, we really only want to see 2 decimal places. So I'm going to use our home to decrease our decimal places to 2. Okay. Now let's choose some other cells in the total row and experiment with the different kinds of statistical functions. We could try using the max. Do it in this one. That gives us the largest occurrence in that row. We could try the count. And again, that would just tell us how many entries there are. Now we don't actually want to save anything in that row, or in that column. I'm sorry, we'll leave that blank. So I'll change that by deleting it. Come on now. None. How's that? So that should be good for us with our total row. So let's go ahead and save. And we're set. All right, now if we want to print the table, we can select the table. And going backstage here, to our backstage view, we could choose print. And that's going to print it. If we want to change it to landscape so that it looks nice, we didn't have to do very much work there. Now we would like it to print on one sheet. So let's do some scaling. Sheet on one page. We'll see, kind of shrinks things down a little bit. If we wanted to, we could print this to a PDF, like I have mine set right now. We could share this document, this Excel spreadsheet with other people via email or OneDrive. So we have lots of options here. Now, another thing that we can do is sort our table, and that's really important to us because we might want to look at things in many different sequences. So whenever we're sorting, we're arranging the rows in our table in a specific sequence based on the data. Whenever we sort, by default we'll be sorting in ascending order, which is sorting from the lowest to the highest. So we would have like alphabetically A to Z. Now, if we chose descending order, we would be from highest to lowest, so from Z to A. Now, the fields that you select, the columns that you select to sort are called sort keys. And when you sort a table, all of the records in each row move together. So even if the selected cell is the last name, all of the last information will move along with that same column. Lots of ways for us to do sorting. Let's try it. To sort ascending, we're going to use the technician field here. So let me select that. Technician. And I want to make sure that I'm in the technician field. That looks good. I'm looking at Letitia here, and I would like to sort this data alphabetically. So let's click the sort and filter button here on our home tab. And we can do many different things. Notice we could just write here sort A to Z. So let's try it. And voila, now Letitia is down here twice where she belongs. We see a lot of our techs have done more than one job. Notice that the filter button shows an icon to show that our data here is sorted in ascending order. Now go ahead and try some other columns and do some sorting with them. We're going to go ahead and sort the time billed using the sort largest to smallest button. Sometimes it's more convenient to use the data tab and sort with a single click. So let's try it. Click in cell E9, our time billed cell, and let's display our data tab. Now anytime we're working with data like this, we have more advanced functions available on the data tab. You can see the sort is available here also, as well as on the home screen. Let's click the largest to smallest button. And notice how that resorted all of the data. So our data can be sorted in one sequence, but what if we want multiple things? We want to know, like the customer first, and then within customer type, what kind of service did they have? And then within that, let's look at how satisfied they were. So we want to sort on multiple sort keys. So let's click on the sort button here and bring up the sort dialog box. The first thing we want to sort by is customer type. Now that's going to give us basically customer type as our major sort key, the first key. We want to sort that by the value within the cells, and we want it to be A to Z. I had left over from the last sort, so I need to change that. Now I want to add another level to this sort, another column. So what I want to sort by next within the customer type sort is the service. type. Again, by cell values and A to Z. So now for each different type of customer or customer ID, I'm going to have within that a sort of the type of service. Now let's add another level. And this time we want to add the satisfaction survey. And we want the values. And we want them to be, in this case, largest, smallest. We want to know their most satisfied experience. Now, when we click OK, this sort will be applied. And we can see that we have all of our coffee shops first, our customer type, and then all of the different types of service they had, and within that, the satisfaction levels. Now, our fast food places, basically, notice we have a lot of different service types there, and so our satisfaction survey looks like it's random. It's not, because it's sorted within that type of service. So now if you make a sorting error, it's really easy. You can just undo by pressing Control Z or clicking the undo button up here. Now, once you've closed that file or saved it, you can't undo that sort. You would just have to resort it in the correct way. Now, the next thing we want to do is look at querying a table using autofilter. There's a lot of videos in your text, so take a look at those if you like. Whenever we look at any of our data now at this filter button, since we've added this sorting, we should see that we have additional properties, additional items on our filter button. We have sort capabilities along with an option to choose which items we want to view, the filter. So we want to apply criteria here, and criteria meaning a logical rule by which our data will be tested and chosen. So we can filter the table to display a specific name or item. Whenever we are filtering based on one or more filter criteria, we're creating a query. And a query is, hey, I've got a question. What's the answer, right? And so we are using our filter to answer our question. So the first step that we want to try is using to sort a table using the auto filter. So let's click the filter button in the customer bill column to see what options we have. Notice that this filter box is context sensitive. That means it's going to change depending on what column you're in and what the contents are of the column. They ask you to try various filter buttons. We can say we only want to see the things that are $75. Knocked everybody out, didn't it? I'll go back to that and say we want to select all, get all of our data back. We have a lot of power with that filter. For now, let's choose sort largest to smallest, and we can get a sort based on how large the bill was. That's often important to management. Now we want to do some additional filtering to try some things. So let's try clicking the filter button in D8, our service type. Click warranty in the filter menu to remove the check mark. Now that's going to make Excel hide all of the warranty service types. You see they went away. Now that's an auto filter. Let's click the filter button in G8. Here our post-service rating. And let's remove the check marks between bronze and silver. We're only seeing those gold medal people. Let's click OK to apply that auto filter. Oh, and there we are. We can see what's going on. Now, how are we doing? Were both of the filters still applied? Like it. And did the filter remove the previous sort? Our sort was by customer billing amount, so no, we are still sorted by that amount. Now we can also do some searching and some really fancy filtering, but how do we get rid of it? You can remove a filter individually. Each filter menu has a clear filter from command, but we can also use the clear button to remove all of the filters at once. And that's pretty handy because sometimes we might not even know what all filters are applied. So let's look at our clear button. Notice that our filter button is right here. It's activated because we do have filters applied. I click the clear button. That should clear out all of those filters. Now, we were using the auto filter here. We can also use it to search for specific records by entering data in the search box. The data you type is called the search string. For example, in a student table, you might want to search for a specific student ID. Sometimes you want to get all of the students whose last name starts with S, or whose grade is 3.75 or GPA. So you could do that using wildcard characters. You could use an asterisk character to indicate that you would accept any value and any number of values in a certain spot. And you can use a question mark to indicate that you would accept any value in one specific spot. So let's see if we can do some filtering. Let's click the filter button in the technician column, and in the search box, let's search for Jones. Now notice how it came up with just Letitia here. Click OK, and we'll filter our data to whatever column we'd searched for. Now notice how cool this is, that now that we've got this data filtered, our totals are showing for the actual data that's displayed. So that's very nice and handy. I'm going to use my clear again to make sure I've removed all those filters. Another way we can query a table is to use a custom filter. The custom filter lets you enter custom criteria like multiple options or ranges of numbers. Now, not all queries are exact numbers. Many times a range is required. We might want to know all of the service calls within a certain date range, or the people who were billed a certain range, all sorts of things like that. So to apply this filter, let's go to cell F8. We're going to look at our satisfaction survey filter. And we want to just look at number filters. Now, when we're looking at number filters here, we want to create a custom one. So I'm going to choose custom filters. The other options should be somewhat self-explanatory. Please try them. Now in my custom filter, I'm ready to enter in the data that I want to use to filter for. So what I would like is to get all of the rows where the satisfaction survey amount is greater than or equal to the number 7 and less than or equal to, I had to scroll down a little bit to find that choice, the number 9. Now I can click OK, and that filters my data down to my satisfaction survey people that only received an award. Now let's go ahead and clear out that filter. Now in the text, they have some important information for you, a little bit about filters. When you query a table to display some records and hide others, Excel displays that filter icon on the filter buttons used to establish the filter. So we saw that, we could see that little icon there. Excel also displays the row headings of the selected records in blue. Excel does not sort hidden records. If the filter buttons, so if you filtered and some of your records are hiding and you change your sort, those records won't be included in that new sort. Now, if the filter buttons don't appear, you might have to manually enable auto filter by clicking the filter button. And that's this one here. Now that's why it's gray a little bit, because the filter buttons are showing. I could turn them off completely and we wouldn't see them at all. Turn them back on. Now to remove a filter criteria for a single piece of data, click the Select All checkbox on the filter menu for that field. In other words, if I'm looking at this and I'm only looking at one item, I can choose Select All again to see them all. When you create a formula in the total row of the table, the formula automatically recalculates the values even when you filter the list. So, for example, the results shown in the total row update automatically if you apply a filter, and that's really cool. You can filter and sort a column by color or conditional formatting using the Sort by Color and Filter by Color commands on the filter menu. Now, we saw that you can turn off and on the auto filter feature by hiding or showing the filter buttons. Sometimes you might want to view the table without the distraction of all of the buttons. So we saw that that's pretty simple to do. Go to your Data tab and click on Filter to either turn it off or turn it on. Let's save there. And the next step, we will wait for our next video. So we'll end our video here. Thank you.